Right.
So she got this big gig. And so she's in Austin all the time and coming back, flying back and forth. And I'm just kind of like, oh my God, and at first, I guess you can say it was kind of a jealousy thing. I'm not too proud to admit that.
Well, no,
it's like,
I can't see that it wouldn't be.
Okay, well, okay. But now I'm just like, yeah, whatever, man. It is what it is. And I'll get mine at some point. And
yeah.
But there is, her and I, look, I've been in other relationships where, it could be hairy, but her and I, we get along so well, and we're good friends too. So it's like we have this rapport it's not like that. We don't get like that. We kind of celebrate each other's stuff. And that's the beautiful thing,
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. And laughter is key.
I can't imagine that you guys wouldn't laugh. I mean,
oh my God.
Yeah. How did you end up meeting her?
Well, okay, so I had just gotten out of a marriage, and it had been a while, and one of my friends, I was at this bar with one of my friends in Hollywood, and they're like, you gotta try Match.com. And I'm like, I'm not doing online dating. That stuff freaks me out. And then another guy was there. He's like, don't do Match. He's like, try this site called Nerve.com. I'm like, that sounds like a triple X. What the hell is that? And he's like, no, it's one part of it is weird, but there's another part of it that's just a dating site, and it's legit. I'm like, all right. So I got buzzed. I went home that night. It was like 2 a.m. I go home and I set up a profile on Nerve.com. And I'm going, this is, whatever. So I wake up the next morning and I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. Let me see. And I open it up and there's a wink. Someone had winked at me, and I'm like, what the hell? So I click on it, and it says, this woman, Mo Collins, has winked at you. And I'm like, no, I didn't. Okay, so let me say this. I didn't watch Mad TV. I didn't know who she was.
You didn't know who she was?
No, I didn't.
Well, that's fine. She's a human.
Yeah. And I saw her picture, and I'm like, oh my God, she's beautiful. She winked at me. And so I winked back. And then next thing I know, we're kind of chatting back and forth. And then it moved to texting. And then from texting, it went to, hey, let's meet. And our first date was on April 30th, 2010. April 30th is coming up. So 9 years. This April 30th, our first date. We've been together for
awesome.
9 years. Yeah.
And you guys you've had other relationships. You had kids, and
I have 2 kids with a different marriage, and then she has a child with her previous marriage.
And you make that work.
I fly them out here, a couple times a year, and then I'll fly out there to see them. And her son, he lived with us, and then he's now going to UCLA, and he's got an apartment. So now we're empty nesters-ish, I guess.
Yeah.
So we're just kind of flowing along. Yeah,
that's cool. What are your coping mechanisms? I know you said you were talking in your podcast a little bit about diet and you were trying the low carb thing.
So, look.
Tell me about your bad habits and your good habits.
Yeah, my bad habits is I smoke cigarettes. I should not do that anymore, but I do. I actually still love it, which is hideous to even say.
No, my partner is he's on vape now and he's trying to step down, but he's been a smoker his whole. And
I can't do the vape. I tried it. I can't. I hate it. It's not a cigarette.
Felt like I know. I get the addictive part of it, and
yeah, and booze. It's like, do I booze a lot? No, but when I do, I'll throw it up. You know what I mean? So, but that's just part of me, man. And I don't.
That's totally cool.
So I don't. I used to party a lot, like I used to when I was young. I liked LSD. I liked all that kind of stuff, and and I stopped doing that around 20. I stopped doing it. And I started young, which is pretty crazy. So now it's just I like tequila. I like my cigarettes, and, an antidepressant here and there is fine. And it's
I think whatever works for you I mean, nobody's perfect. We're just going by, and
I know. And I'm addicted to exercise.
I'm a total addict to exercise.
I've been working out since I was about 17 years old. What I learned, which is funny, and you were just mentioning the weight loss thing, is that throughout my years of exercising, you can work out till the cows come home. But if you're not eating right, it's not going to show, And so what I did was about a year and a half ago, this was 2 Novembers ago, I had a physical, right? And my blood pressure was a little high, and they did the blood work, and my doctor called me, who's been my doctor for 9 years, I guess. And he was like, hey, look, your triglycerides are kind of through the roof. He's like, you gotta do this. He goes, I want to put you on meds. I said, I'm not going on meds. Yeah, I said, I'm not going on meds, watch what I do. So I got off the phone and it was Thanksgiving, which was horrifying because I love food. I, within 3 weeks, went back and took a blood test and dropped my triglycerides by 600 points. My doctor was like, what the hell are you doing? I said, well, I went from burritos, pizza, and churros to leafy greens, fish, and fruit and vegetables. That's it.
So you can just tighten up your ship like that.
I guess. I mean, I dropped 30 pounds within 3 months. That's
impressive. It really is,
And yeah, but here's the funny thing. So then about 3 weeks ago, I was like, oh my God, I can feel I'm adding weight again. So I got on the scale and I saw that from the 30 pounds I lost, I put back on 7.
Uh-huh.
So I went, this is no good. So about 2 weeks ago, I said goodbye to carbs. I'm doing the lean proteins, chicken and turkey, a little bit of cheese here and there, fruits, vegetables, greens, and I'm down 7 pounds. I lost all the weight within 2 weeks.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm feeling good.
That's great. That's great. Yeah.
Those are my coping mechanisms, I guess, right?
No, yeah, that's perfect. Just great.
Yeah,
yeah, you got to have some moments where you're, to let go and just.
Yeah, and feel good.
Feel good, yeah. So tell me a little bit about Comedy for a Cure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and how you got involved with the TS Alliance.
Absolutely love that. And I'm being completely honest.
Really?
I love it. Oh, yeah, my God. So my wife, she got involved about 8 years ago.
Okay, I thought she'd been involved for a while.
She did. So 8 years ago, when we were about a year into our relationship, she's like, I'm doing this thing called Comedy for a Cure. It's for tuberous sclerosis. Do you want to come? And she was hosting that.
How did you know what it was then? Or?
I had no idea.
Uh-huh.
I had no clue. So I was like, yeah, I'll go with you. So I went and I loved it. I was like, oh my God, these people are amazing. And they're here and they're putting this all together for this complex. And then the second year she did it, I went. And when I was there, I was like, you know what? I want to do something for this too. And,
that's awesome.
And then Carrie, okay, so 6 years ago, Carrie asked me to do some stuff for it too. So I did, I think I hosted that year with my wife. I think I did. And then from there on out, so for 6 years, You've been
doing it for 6 years.
Yeah, some part in some way I've been doing it. Yeah, it's great. I love it.
That's awesome. It's just great to have that connection and, Carrie, but just getting the word out about TSC, that the people that can get it into the spotlight and raise awareness.
And the people, and the wild thing is the people with the organization are just so wonderful. Everyone is just cool. And then the people that come there are so generous and they give, it's just amazing.
It's really good to hear. And I think my philosophy is it kind of draws you to level up. It brings a lot of really people that are, I don't want to say evolved, but kind of past the bullshit to a degree and just interesting people from all kinds of different walks of life. So that's really great that you got involved.
Love it.
And thank you for all that.
This last one was awesome. Me and Jim O'Hare co-hosted together. We had great stand-ups. And,
did you?
It was fun. Yeah. We had John Henson, Orny Adams, Kate Flannery, a guy named Shane Brady did this funny magic show. And then we had,
so awesome.
And then Jim and I co-hosted and it was just great. Yeah, it was really, and the venue was cool too.
Was it?
It was a place called Academy LA which I had never been to. And interesting enough, it's right next to the Museum of Death, which is very bizarre. But, so we went, but the venue was the Museum of Death and then Academy LA. And I'm like,
strikes me funny.
And the driver was dropping me off and I was like, is this right?
This is a bad omen or something.
This is not, but the place was gorgeous. It was an awesome, awesome evening. It really was.
It's great. So do you ever do stand up or is it just?
My wife's done stand-up. I have a bunch of friends that are stand-up comics, pretty well-known stand-up comics. And
Joe Rogan is one of my heroes. Not heroes.
I don't know him. I don't even really know his stand-up. I watched his podcast because David Lee Roth was on it, who was one of my idols growing up. And that's all and I know he was on a series. I don't remember the series he was on. It had to do with an office or something or whatever. Anyway, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, his podcast he connects with everybody no matter who they are. He makes that human connection. Yeah. So it's,
he's great, man. He's got a huge following too. And his stand-up apparently is great. So, I mean,
But have you thought about it?
I've had people say he should do it and I have thought about it. I have thought about it. Of course. But here's the thing.
I mean, it's hard to write that stuff. I mean, I don't
think I would write it. I think I would just get up and wing it. I mean, you would wing it.
Is that the kind of that's how your
yeah,
shtick?
Because I would have to probably do that. I mean, for the most part, I'm an actor. Yeah, I like the fourth wall. So like I do plays. I love doing theater.
I was reading your writing about that, and describe, like you were describing how it feels to perform in front of a live audience. I thought that was a great bit.
So I have this writer friend. His name is Howard Scora. He's a brilliant playwright. And I had done a play with him about 3 years ago called Miserable with an Ocean View. And I had one of the supporting roles in it. And I just loved the play so much. And then last Christmas, not this last one, the one before it, he came up to me. He's like, I'm writing a new play and I'm thinking about you for the lead. And you'd be great. So I was like, okay, give me the script. He gave me the script and I'm like, oh my God, this play is hilarious. It's dysfunctional. It's about this actor who's not really getting much work in LA. And then he finds out his uncle dies back in Bensonhurst, New York. And he has to fly back for the funeral. And his family owns this furniture store. And from there, it just goes south. And it's hilarious. And I played Doug Elling, which was the main role. And we ran for 6 months out here. And we sold out every show for 6 months.
Wow. So and you performed live for that long?
Yeah, we did 6 months. Yeah. And it's just phenomenal. But the feeling between, when you're on stage and you're in it and, the fourth wall's up. So in your head, there's really no audience there, but there is.
Is that what it is? I'm ignorant. So I'm sorry. The fourth wall. Yeah.
So the stage has 3 walls. There's no wall between you and the audience, but there's an imaginary fourth wall. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you're alone. So anyway, the feeling of, like, I had 96 pages of dialogue.
Oh, my God.
Okay, but it was, at first, when I first got the script, I was like, what the hell?
How do you even,
But then it becomes a song. You work.
Oh, I believe it.
You work. And then, of course, you rehearse for a month, and then come opening night, sink or swim, time to go. Full audience.
Oh, my
And then after, 3 or 4 shows, it just becomes embedded in your brain. It's that song that keeps playing endlessly in your head that you can't get out of your head. And that's what it becomes. But the energy between when you're in it, when you're an actor on stage and you're in the moment, and that energy that the audience gives you, it's like a give and take between the actor and the audience. There's no drug. There's no feeling on this planet, in my opinion, that is better than that.
That's your flow state. That's your moment.
That's it, man.
Yeah. That's a gift. I mean, I think we all have our places where we get, hopefully people can do that. But that's cool.
And
great.
You can't get it from film. You can't get it from television.
No.
You can't get it from those mediums. No.
You're really having to rise up in the moment. I mean, and really rely on your
instincts. And and just keeping it honest and real. You know what I mean? So that's the whole acting thing. Whatever. But it's like being able to keep it honest, keep it real, keep it grounded, and still bring the laughter, bring the funny, and do all this stuff. It's wonderful.
Sounds wonderful. It really does. It sounds great. I hope someday I can watch you perform.
Oh, I'd love it. It'd be great.
I was going to ask something else about that. How do you prep for that kind of performance?
Again, so when I got the script, I realized that I had 96 pages of dialogue, and it was out of fear that I literally went to my office. This is what I did, right? So every morning I'd get up, and this is before rehearsal started. Okay. So I told myself, I'm going to be off book by the time rehearsal starts. So I don't know what the other actors I don't need the script.
Okay.
Right. So every morning, and it took me about 11 days, but every morning for 11 days, I'd go into my office, close the door, and I'd sit in here for, 3-4 hours with the script. And I'd start on page 1, and I'd go, okay, so I'd grab 5 pages, and I'd go, I'm going to learn these right now. And then I'd learn those 5 pages. The next day I'd go on, and then I'd go da-da-da-da. And by 11 days, I was completely off book.
Wow.
Because it was fear. I was afraid that I wouldn't memorize this stuff. And I forced. Yeah.
That's when I've had my most productive experiences, is those states where you have to. You have to.
Yeah, you have to. Yeah, sink or swim, man. You got to do it.
Yes. Yeah. That's awesome. I love hearing the experience of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what are you doing right now? And
I have a movie that I'm filming in Chicago in the fall. It's called Hardliner. It's a drama. It's pretty gritty, bloody, some action in there. And actually Jim O'Hare is also in it.
That's so cool.
Too.
Now, did you meet him through the TS stuff, or did you know him?
I've known Jim for years. We actually did a series together for Comedy Central way back before I got King of Queens. This was in early 98.
Oh, okay. So you guys go way back.
And we did a series called Strip Mall, which was really
That's funny. I might have, it sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah, on Comedy Central, and he was in it, and I was in it. And